Hello, my name is Michael Bowers, and I will be representing the Space Monkeys team as we introduce our newest game concept, Dark Space. Dark Space is all about a single procedurally generated world used to increase replayability in players who want to play through multiple times. Movement is restricted to a three-dimensional axis, and players will have access to weapons such as lasers, missiles, and projectiles, and defenses such as shields, armor, and hull for their combat experience. Factions that the player will run into are pirate factions, a few different alien factions, and some neutral factions, which will neither hinder nor help the player until further interactions have been done. We have also introduced a science, which introduces tech trees and research options to give players access to higher grade materials and items. Our designer's intent is pretty straightforward. We want the players to experience the curiosity of the unknown, but not run from it. We want them to take our mechanics for exploration and research and embrace what they have not experienced yet. In doing so, it will help them understand the limitations of their craft and plan for future upgrades when forming a strategy for moving forward. Once they do those two things, they can then experience the consequences of their choices, whether it be when interacting with a faction or when utilizing the finite amount of materials and research points for crafting or researching technologies. We are targeting this at the PC for a few reasons. The main reason being Steam's Greenlight Early Access community has a great turnaround time when giving feedback for games that are in development. We are also targeting this for single player, as it is easier to design with a small team, and the research that we have done indicates that more players tend to like single player games than multiplayer games when they are looking at games for their downtime. Our first mechanic is the toggle mechanic. This will work with certain abilities and equipment, such as weapons and shields, that you will be able to turn on and off using the F1 through F8 and certain customizable bound keys for other options. The second mechanic that we'll be covering is the create mechanic. The creation mechanic will use materials that you have gathered in order to craft certain items, such as equipment for your ship, as well as ammo for your weapons and equipment. You will use this by opening up the inventory, going into the creation menu, and then using the left mouse button. The third mechanic is pretty straightforward. It is the collection mechanic. You will use a tractor beam and arm on the vessel to collect debris and materials for research and crafting when you are near them. You can utilize the F9 key to activate this when you are close to an item. After you have unlocked some of the more advanced technologies, you can use the combine mechanic to combine two or more items or materials into a more advanced item once you have the recipe for it. You can use this just like the creation menu, except it will be in the inventory menu and you will still be using the left mouse click. The final mechanic is the consume mechanic. When using weapons or equipment that take an ammunition, you will consume ammo from your inventory, as well as if you create or combine, you will consume materials and items for that recipe. This can be done with the left mouse click when doing the creation and combine functions, as well as the F1 through F8 keys or any other custom bound thing that uses an ammunition. Our main competitors found during research were StarMade, Space Engineers, and Empyrion Galactic Survival. Although similar, we were able to separate ourselves from these titles by incorporating some key design features. First, we limited the ship's abilities and research options by only providing a finite amount of crafting materials and research points gained from the debris that you get while you play. Next, we put an emphasis on calculated decision making by using a risk-reward mentality when approaching an unknown or dangerous scenario. Next, mistakes and miscalculations were made to be lethal if not thought through or considered in depth before acting upon the situation. Finally, we wanted a truly responsive reaction or consequence when interacting with factions, as well as misusing finite resources. Here are some sneak peeks from our game. The upper left has us exploring an abandoned area, looking for materials and research. The bottom left has us crafting using the materials we found. The middle has us fighting an enemy in one of the sites. The top right has a list of possible factions to encounter, and the bottom right is an example of just how intricate the tech trees can get and why you need such good planning. Finally, here are the references and resources for the information and pictures that we use that were not ours. Thank you for your time.